5 ways to make kvCore your new best friend. I don't know really exactly how I became this kvCore love child, but I am. And I do like talking about kvCore, and I like helping agents. So I'm really glad to have you here. And I've done this particular class before, but I've updated it a bit. So the first thing I want to ask you is, those of you that are using kvCore, or maybe you are not because you don't know how, how do you feel about kvCore? Like, where are you in your kvCore life? Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Okay. Do you feel, confused? People feel confused. Do you feel, like, it's fine. Some people love it. Okay. Some people are overwhelmed. It's too complex. It is quite complex. Okay. Optimistic. Ooh. Level 1 peon. I'm liking some of these. Brand new to it. Okay. Optimistically learning. What a nice phrase. Dominique, you need help? You can go sit down. All right. Trying to get it under control. Okay. So yes, it is very powerful, and it is overwhelming, and a lot of people don't know where to start. So let's get to it. All right, so I did just put a copy of the slides in the chat, because I do want you to have that, because there's important links in here that I want you to have. Okay, so here's what I need you to know, that this is not a kvCore how-to class. Last time I was in the world, the last couple times, I was teaching the 10 ways to reach your sphere in kvCore, and it was very much a how-to class, very nuts and bolts. This one is more ideas, okay, with specific resources. So I just gave you the link and to the slides, and I want you to have that because there's lots of links to resources there. All right, so the first thing to tell you, since this is not a kvCore how-to class, I have so many other kvCore how-to classes for you. If you click on the link inside from this page, from the link I just provided, it'll take you to my school, the Sylvia system, and you can see the free content there, as well as enroll in the Zoom meetings, which are free, and then enroll in the school if you want all the recordings. Okay, so that's that. I also have my YouTube channel. There is just a plethora of information here with all kinds of training for kvCore. Everything from, what is a squeeze page, and what do I do with it? How do I opt in for kvCore? How do I send a mass email? Where should I be posting my lead gen links? All that kind of stuff. We're ready. All right, so I am going to start with my #1 way to make kvCore your new best friend, and that is reaching your sphere with kvCore. Notice on this page there's a link to resources, super important. So let's just kind of quickly go through this list, and I'll talk about this a bit. So when we're talking about reaching our sphere with kvCore, make sure you add all your contacts to the Smart CRM, and send a welcome email out to everybody saying, hey, I have a new website. I want you to check it out. I hope you're doing well. Hey, on my website, you can, get your instant home value. Here's the link. You can search homes. Here's the link. Let me know if you have any questions. You can just send a welcome email. And then you can create and trigger a sphere campaign. Now, first of all, about the contacts in your CRM, I want you to know it took me a super long time to get my contact in my CRM from kvCore to kvCore, I mean, because I came from a different brokerage, and I had used Realty Juggler, which I really like. I really do love Realty Juggler. It's a great CRM. And I just was struggling with taking, trusting and committing all my contacts into kvCore. And finally, it probably took me, I mean, I probably only recently did it about 6 months ago, but I've been teaching kvCore for 2 years. So it took me a long time to commit to it. Yes, you can download all of your contacts, Isela. Anyway, so yes, so that's one thing I wanted to mention. It took me a long time, so if it's taken you a long time, don't feel bad, but please do it right away. It'll be so worth it. You can create and trigger a sphere campaign, which I'm going to briefly touch on. You can set up your sphere on home valuations and market reports, as well as search alerts so that they're getting properties sent to them, maybe listings in their zip code once a month. And you can set up kvCore to include anybody marked in your sphere. You can set that up to have them included in automatic call task creation. So you can set up your kvCore to create call tasks for you and make sure people in your sphere are included in that list. So you're calling people from your sphere a little bit every day. And on that note, there's an awesome kvCore mobile app that has a dialer, you guys. It's a single line dialer, and it is really a great app. I love it. And it took me a long time to use that as well. And now that I'm using it, it's so worth it. Let me first of all show you the resources I have for reaching your sphere. I think you're going to be able to see it in the screen in a minute. There it is. Okay, so you should be able to see this. It says resources at the top. This is the document I shared in my 10 ways to reach your sphere with kvCore class in the world. There, if you open up this document, there's a link to the slides and recording of the class, as well as a 2-minute kind of video demo of the kvCore app. It's silent, there's no words, but you can just see it. You've got my campaign copy and instructions. You've got my lead generation template. You've got the link to CRMs for dum-dums and workplace, my YouTube channel, all kinds of resources here. So if you're like, well, how do I set up a kvCore a campaign for my sphere? How do I do that? Well, this is the document that's going to teach you how to do that. Okay, how do I set up my alerts? And how do I set up valuations for my sphere? This is the document that is going to teach you how to do that. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you there. The other thing I wanted to share with you about your sphere is I just wanted you to look at this page. This is a screenshot I took of my own kvCore just a little bit ago, earlier this morning. And I wanted to point out Andrea Van Ree. So I started, really committing to kvCore with my sphere just about 6 months ago, like I told you. So I was not communicating with them from kvCore before. I was just using it to manage my new leads before. But now I'm using it to manage my sphere as well. This is Andrea Van Ree. Now, a long time ago, I used to sell cars. And she was somebody, I didn't even sell a car to her. Somebody else sold the car to her, but that person at the dealership left. And so she came in one day and was just asking some questions about her car, and I helped her. And then, I kept in touch with her to make sure she was good. And that's how I know her. So she was in my sphere. And a couple months ago, because I was using my dialer finally, I gave her a call and said, hey, I don't even know if you remember me, but I worked with you at the dealership a long time ago, and I'm just curious how you're doing. I want to make sure I'm in real estate full time. Is there anything I can do for you? And she's like, oh, I was going to buy a house last summer, but we just kind of put it on hold for a couple reasons. But I'm definitely going to be looking again next summer. And this was like in February when I called her. Okay. I'm going to be looking this summer, and but I already have a really great realtor. I like him a lot. I'm like, well, that's so great. I'm glad you have a good realtor. And if you have any, if you ever turns out you need a second opinion, or you just want a backup answer, I'm happy to just help out if needed. But I'm glad you're doing great. Blah blah blah. She's like, oh, okay, great. Well, 2 days ago, she calls me out of the blue, and says, hey, I'm ready to buy a house now, but my other realtor that I like so much, he's just not working for me. He's not returning my calls, and he only wants me to work with his one lender, and that lender doesn't do the type of loan I want to do. And I'm stuck, and so I think I need a new realtor. So I didn't even try to steer her away from the realtor. I'm like, oh, well, let me hook you up with a lender, and and you can decide about your realtor later. She's like, no, I just want to work with you. Okay, so now I got her pre-approved, and she's looking at houses, and that's just because I made a call to my sphere, and I put my sphere in here, and they're getting my emails. Today, I got a text message from one of my past clients who's in my sphere, obviously, because I send out a weekly newsletter now, and you can do that from kvCore. He texted me and said he's ready to list. So, I mean, it's just so worth it to nurture your sphere from kvCore. It will save you so much heartache from trying to generate new leads. When you have, a ton of people in your phone, people that you've met before, people you've called before, people you've have business cards for, people, all kinds of people. So that's my #1 way to make kvCore your new best friend. I'm going to just check the chat and see if there's anything I need to check out. The resources page, again, I'll just point out so that before we go too far, you won't be lost. So here's the sphere. #1 way, reach your sphere, and it should be showing on the screen right now. It says #1, reach your sphere, and then there's like a little yellow highlighted text that says resources. That is a link. So you all have this document, and at the end of the program, I will put the link to these slides in here again.
Sylvia?
Yes.
I was wondering, you're sphere now, but sphere means all of your contacts versus sphere of influence, which maybe people you know. What is the difference?
What's the difference between your sphere of influence and what else?
And sphere?
There's the same. Your sphere. SOI, sphere of influence. Just anybody that you have come across that you're putting in your sphere, whether it's somebody you met at the grocery store, it's somebody that did your hair one time, it's your dry cleaner, it's the lady you go to church with, it's anybody that you have met before, or you've developed some sort of relationship, even your Facebook friends, those of you who haven't met before, that's your sphere. #2 way to make kvCore your new best friend is to leverage lead generation on social media. So let's talk about this for a minute. Now, this is not a social media class, but I'm going to give you resources. So you can create a single property squeeze page from kvCore to promote a listing. Now, I don't know what your state laws are, so you'll have to pay attention to that. But for example, in the state of Michigan, I can promote any other brokerage's listing I want without explicit permission. You'll have to check what your state laws are. But what I can do when I post and promote another listing from a different brokerage is I just have to say, in the post somewhere, listing provided by Remax Sunquest, listing provided by Keller Williams Rivertown, listing provided by Coldwell Banker AJ Schmidt, whatever the case may be. So I will tell you, nothing generates leads in kvCore like a single property squeeze page does. And you can generate the leads for free. You could boost a post, you could pay for a Google ad, but nothing, you don't have to. You can actually generate leads with your posting efforts without paying. You truly can. You just have to be consistent. Multi-property squeeze pages you can create to post, like get your list of all the reduced properties in this zip code. Get your list of all the properties with pools in this county. Get your list of all the properties that are fixer-uppers in this city. Get your list of all the newest listings in this neighborhood. So those are great, very versatile type of pages you can create from kvCore and post on social media groups or pages or profiles. You can also create market reports. Like get your market report in this city, county, or zip code. That's market reports are great for stuff like the Nextdoor app, for LinkedIn, for blog posts, email, mass emails. And then the other great lead generating squeeze page to create is a seller squeeze page. So I said single property squeeze pages are a great way to generate a lot of leads, but so are seller squeeze pages. People love to get their instant home value. And I love using seller squeeze pages because I do get lots of seller leads. So that's one way to leverage social media. I am going to be showing you some examples here, so no worries. Call capture codes you can use for like memes or Instagram images or Craigslist or even printable printable marketing material. So anywhere you can't really post a link is where you're going to use your call capture codes for. So even like sign writers. So text 123 to this phone number to get these details. Text, you know, cool house to get more information on this listing. You know, so you can create call capture codes for your listings, for any kind of reply link, for an event, for, you know, a multi-property squeeze page list, like get your list of foreclosures in this area, get your you know, top 10 resources for FSBO list if you text this number. You know, any kind of creative way you can come up with. Blog posts, creating squeeze pages for blog posts. So in kvCore, you can create blog posts. So this is great for like the Nextdoor app or LinkedIn or Facebook groups, places where you don't want to be too in your face with posting a property and looking like you're trying to sell something. But if you create a blog post where you're providing like information about a neighborhood and you're providing value and you're giving some reports or news, you know, and then you kind of put in these squeeze pages for people to click on to come to your website in the blog post, it's kind of like you're providing value, but you might get something in return because somebody's going to click on something. So it's less salesy and you're more providing information, and you're more likely to show up online the more you post to blogs. And you can use kvCore to do that. In videos, you can, like YouTube and Facebook Live, for example, you can post your squeeze page links to video descriptions. And, you know, so if you're doing like a tour of a home that you just listed, or another home that you're promoting, and another EXP agent's home listing that they're selling, you could do a Facebook Live video and then create a squeeze page and put that squeeze page link in the video description. So those are some things. Now, as far as resources, if you are on this slide and you have the link to this slide, it will show you this social media training page I created for you. So basically, I have a fantastic kvCore setup and lead gen template. Everyone's free to use, and it will help you set up your website and lead generating links if you follow it step by step. But if you go to this and open up this template, click on the social media training tab and also the lead generation training tab. These two tabs will teach you what social media should you have in place. Well, you should have your Facebook business page in place. You should have a Google My Business page in place. You should have an Instagram account and LinkedIn. Those are the 4 you should have. And then, well, what should you post there and how? Well, I've got some videos here about how to create squeeze pages from kvCore and how to post them to social media. So this is a resource for you. If you haven't done this yet, you just, you know, you're scared of it, just start here. Okay, start here. Create some squeeze pages and then start posting them. And this will give you the resources to do that. This is one of my listings, actually, that I posted on my Facebook business page, and we dropped the price. And I did not boost this post. I did not pay for an ad, but I just said, hey, here's a price drop, and I wrote some stuff. And look at all the activity here. Now, part of this comes from the fact that my sellers were also fans of my Facebook business page, and they were also Facebook friends with me. And so whenever they saw me post something about their home, they would share it. And when you have that, a seller that's like that, you're in much better shape. But that, you know, what I wanted to see is just look at all these people, 2,600 people reached from just one little post that I did not pay for. So you need to be leveraging social media. Now this particular post is a squeeze page to the listing. So I created a single property squeeze page. Okay. So the number 3 way to make kvCore your new best friend is to use tailored follow-up campaigns. What kind of campaigns could you use? And first of all, let's talk about why would you create a custom campaign? So in kvCore, I've got lots of videos on this, but and I'm going to show you these resources now. But there are some just basic campaigns you would want to activate, like, you know, a basic buyer follow-up campaign, a basic default seller campaign. You want to follow up with seller leads. You want to activate some basic ones and get them going so that when you're getting leads, they're being followed up with some sort of campaign. If you wanted to create a custom campaign, let's think about why would you want to do that. So for example, let's say you want a campaign that's specific for people that click on any property or something like that, a property that you post on Facebook. And when you get a lead from that, you want to tell that person in an automatic campaign that, hey, we know each other from Facebook, or you clicked on my link from Facebook, and that's why I'm messaging you. You know, why do you want to create a custom campaign like that? Or if you have, you know, a Google business page and you create a ad about get my instant home value right now, type ad on Google, and you had a campaign that would follow up with that person and say, hey, you clicked on a link to get your instant home value from Google the other day, and I'm the realtor, and how can I help you? Like, why would that matter? Why would that be any better than a default campaign? Yeah, so some people are responding. They're saying it helps you build trust. And absolutely. So what's happening is you're building trust, you're building familiarity. I don't know if any of you have read Jeb Blunt's Fanatical Prospecting book. He talks about, yes, W recognition. He talks about familiarity and, you know, prospecting, and how many times and touches do you have to have with a cold lead before they become somebody that likes you, knows you, trusts you. You know, and it's something like 20-something times before they feel like that there's some kind of trust there. So you're just adding another layer with custom campaigns. You're just adding like another layer of familiarity that might help you convert the lead sooner than later. So different types of campaigns, maybe the Facebook buyer campaign, which I have, a next door seller. So if you posted like get your instant home value ad on the next door app, it's to follow up with those people who are your neighbors. Maybe if you created a landing page where you're promoting an event, like maybe a virtual tour or a virtual home buyer seminar, or when we can start doing in-person things again, an in-person home buyer seminar, or a text campaign for call capture text codes, maybe expired or FSBO campaigns. I know Brad Anderson is always teaching about Zillow in the world. He's talking about how you can get, you know, people's phone numbers, FSBO phone numbers, for when FSBOs post their listings to Zillow, and you could create a text campaign for them. So those are some examples. So if I click on resources, for this page, I have got this awesome document that I think is pretty awesome. It has a link to my complete campaign series, campaign training. It's my automatic series. Isn't that cute? So it talks about, you know, all the automation in kvCore and creating, modifying campaigns, creating custom campaigns, understanding kvCore logic, campaign logic. I have some copy here, like for actual you know, templates that you'd create, like your task templates and text templates, email templates for different custom campaigns. And then towards, even have an agent attraction campaign in here, by the way, for us EXPers. I know we have some guests in here. I also have campaign instructions, like, you know, how to add the default campaigns, how to modify any of your buyer or seller campaigns, how to customize the Sphere homeowner campaign, how to create the Facebook buyer campaign, etc. Okay? We've talked about adding all your contacts into your smart CRM and using kvCore to reach your Sphere in a variety of ways. We've talked about leveraging social media and using lead generation links from kvCore to drive people to your website. We've talked about using tailored follow-up campaigns to build that extra level of familiarity so that you can convert a lead sooner than later. I just wanted to show you this example on this. So this is my Facebook buyer campaign. Somebody clicked on a property and it says, hey, I noticed you checked out the home for sale that was posted on Facebook the other day. I'm the realtor and I'd love to know what you think about the listing. I need your feedback. What do you think about the presentation? How about the price? Who do you know who might be interested in purchasing this home? Guess then this lady, she responded to me, yes, I loved it. I live in Woodland and I want to sell my house and purchase that one definitely. Now this lady didn't end up purchasing that house, but I did get to show her the house in person and I did get to go look at her house and evaluate it to list it. And so that was fun. So these campaigns work. Notice the subject line about the home you clicked on Facebook with a smiley face. It's just informal enough that it makes you seem like you're a real person, which you are, but the automatic campaign's helping you out a little bit. So this is kind of the power of a customized campaign. Next, the fourth way to make kvCore your very new bestest friend ever is seller leads and using RPR to convert seller leads. So I know I'm going to say this up front. There's a lot. We have some Canadian agents that from EXP that come into classes and stuff where we're talking about resources like this, and I don't think they have access to RPR like Canadian agents don't. I think because RPR is like the National Association of Realtors, in the U.S. Kind of resource. I'm going to talk about it anyway. I do have a resources page, so this is. I'm going to just first tell you about this. So this is a screenshot from today of my CRM for new seller leads. Now, there's some good things about it and some bad things about it. The good things about it is these are pretty recent, and I have them. The bad things about it is that some of these are just addresses. They're just an address. Some of them don't have a name, or some of them don't have an email. Some of them don't have a phone number. They're just addresses. And so that can be a problem. And so I see a lot of people complain like, oh, the person didn't give me their number. They didn't give me their email. And so now I just have an address. Whatever am I to do? Let me tell you something. And I want you to listen. This is proven, my market anyway. So let me tell you first about my market. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now I moved a little bit north, but I'm in West Michigan. And in our MLS, like the average price is a little over 200,000, like 225,000 is our average price. And we've got, our lower end homes, it's still kind of hard to find something for under 150, but it's there. And of course, there's higher priced homes. We've got the Lakeshore, Lake Michigan, so we've got millions of dollars worth of homes. So it's a variety. We've got a lot of vacation homes here. But in my market, I will tell you, if you generate any kind of seller lead from kvCore, and it might be just an address, or maybe you also have a phone number, maybe you have an email, I'm going to tell you right now, 18%. At least 18% of those seller leads that you get from kvCore, these are people who will actually list and sell their home within 6 months. I have tested this. I have done the numbers, and again, this is for my market. They will list and sell their home within 6 months. Does that mean they're going to do it with you? No. And especially if you get just an address and you don't do diddly with it, you're definitely not going to be the one listing their house. But what if you take it a step further and go to RPR or the county records and find out who is the owner? Maybe you have access to RedX or Co-Realty Resource, and through RedX or Co-Realty Resource, you can get that person's email address or phone number. Or maybe you're going to just take it a little bit further and send them something in the mail. Maybe you're going to take it all the way and go knock on that person's door. But I'm telling you, 18% of these seller leads will convert if you, and they may convert with you or not, but they're going to convert. Okay. So I just wanted to show you that it is going to take some work. And so I kind of developed this little system where I go into my RPR account and I just create a property flyer for that address. And so when I create the property flyer, it automatically pulls in whatever house, either they put in a previous listing photo that RPR can find or a Google photo. And then with a little map, and it gives just basic information about the home. And then you can write a little message, and then it provides your own signature that you've already created in RPR, your own little profile. So I just wrote a little, all I do is write a little message. And I use call capture codes in this case because I'm going to either mail this or drop it off at their door. And so I tell them, hey, I've got your full property report. Just text, you know, this number. And I usually use like their address, their street number. So in this case, 1806 Willard. So text 1806 to this smart number, and you're going to get a full property report. So I can capture their phone number. I also have like, hey, come to my website at shesellsgr.com/meet and schedule a phone call with me. And that seems to work too. So if you have somebody who's sincerely interested in what is their home worth, or, you know, and if you make the effort to actually show up at their house and leave them something or send them something or try to call them, if they do convert, they are going to convert with you. And so if you click on resources here, it's going to take you to my training, and it's a YouTube training. I'm not going to do it right now because it's going to go to an ad. It's going to take you to a training about how to do this and how my process works and the different ways to, how to create a seller squeeze page, where to post it. Then, you know, once you get the lead, what to do with it, how to use RPR to create this follow-up. And I give you all kinds of ideas here. So I love it. I hope you love it too. It does take some work. Send them a handwritten note. Exactly. Send them a handwritten note. Exactly. Get their info from tax information. Yes. Corfac postcards. Yes. Making it rain. No, these are not making it rain leads. I don't really pay for leads. No, these are just leads because I'm pretty fairly consistent with posting on social media. I have a very strong social media presence. And so I just kind of get leads, but it took a while to build, you guys. I've been at this for a couple of years. I'm just real consistent. And the only leads I have ever paid for, when it comes, except I do have RedX to do cold calling. I do that. But what, as far as paying for online leads, the only thing I've done that I will pay for is my Google My Business page. Super important to have one, by the way. Google My Business page, I create an ad, what's my home worth, or get your instant home value in West Michigan, or what's my home worth in West Michigan. I change it up and I create a seller squeeze page, and I do pay for that ad. It's about like $90-something a month if I'm going to do it. And I'll do it on and off. Like I'll do it for a couple of months and I'll take it down and I'll do it again, you know, here and there. That's where, you know, so those leads, and just posting around, like what's my home worth. I have it on my website. I have it in blog posts. I have it in social media posts. And that's how I'm getting the leads. Okay. Let's see. Click on OK, start to scroll. Okay, phone number. What phone number do they text to? Okay, great question. This is regarding your smart number. So let me give you a little education on your smart number. When you opt in to kvCore, you are assigned a smart number. And this smart number is usually going to be, unless you pay for your own smart number, you're going to get assigned a shared smart number. And it's going to be with your office, quote unquote. Can somebody help Lev? She said she can't hear. Okay, so it's going to be for your office, a smart number for your office. So for example, my office is eXp Realty Grand Rapids. So everybody associated with that office has that shared smart number. What does that mean? That means if somebody actually picks up the phone and calls the number, it's going to get round robined to the next agent in your area. If you do not want that to happen, you're going to go through the kvCore marketplace on the kvCore dashboard, and you're going to order your own smart number that's personalized to you, and only you are going to get any of those leads. I will tell you, I went a good 2 years without having my own personal smart number, and I still use the call capture text codes. When you create your own text codes in kvCore, when you create these text codes and you have a shared number, nobody else in your group can also create the same code. So if I create the code cool house for that smart number, nobody else can also create that same exact code. Only I can, and it's specific to me and my CRM, and only I'm going to get that lead if somebody texts that to somebody. Now, what was the kicker for me? What made me finally decide to get my own smart number? Well, I had generated a lead from one of my Google ads, a seller lead, and kvCore sent out a text message automatically that said, hey, I got your home valuation request, and are you thinking of selling? And he replied back to the text message, because I could see it in my CRM, and it said, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And then just a few minutes later, he picks up the phone and calls the smart number and not my cell phone number. And I could see that, because you can see it in your CRM. It says, lead called smart number, and then agent so-and-so answered or didn't answer. Luckily the agent didn't answer, and so I saw it, and I'm like, and I called the guy, and I was fine, and I got it, and everything was cool, and I got to go see his house and talk to him and stuff, and list his house. But I did not it took me still a while to finally decide to do it, but I was like, yeah, there's that 1% chance that people are not going to call, that people are going to call that smart number, and you're going to lose a lead. And I guess I just don't want to risk that anymore, is what I decided. So it was $27 a month to get your own personal smart number from kvCore, and yes. Okay.
Hi, can you repeat again how to get that smart number?
Yep. You go to in kvCore, you log in. And when you're there at your dashboard, on the left-hand side, there's that column of choices, and one of the choices is a marketplace. You're going to click on marketplace, and then one of the choices inside the marketplace is add a smart number. Why not just use your cell phone number?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Elizabeth said, why not just use your cell phone number? Well, when kvCore sends out text messages from campaigns or behavior automations, it comes from the smart number. You can't make it come from your cell phone number, so that's why. The only thing you can do is, if you do get a smart number, once you get that set up, then you can let kvCore know, like, hey, I just got my own smart number, and that's great, but I actually want to use my Google Voice number, and they will help you get that organized if you want to use your own Google Voice number. The fifth way to make kvCore your new best friend is with the seller marketing kit. So this is for you that do list homes. This is my own brilliant idea that I love so much. I'm in love with this idea, and it's helped me a lot in my business. But it's creating a seller marketing kit for your listings. So what you're going to do is, when you get a listing, you're going to say, okay, Mr. Seller, your listing is going to go live on the MLS tomorrow. And guess what? I've got some great marketing materials that I'm going to be sending to you. Mr. Seller, I do not want you to be tempted to sell to, I don't want you to be tempted to share the Zillow link to your listing, or the listing from realtor.com. I want you to give me a minute, because I'm going to be creating you a single property listing website to promote your listing. And I'm going to create a special link just for you that you're going to be able to share on your Facebook page. You're going to be able to text it to your friends and family. You're going to be able to email it to your coworkers, people you go to church with. It's going to be great. And And also, guess what, Mr. Seller? I'm going to be able to follow up with some of these people and ask them if they know anybody who might want to purchase your home. I'm going to ask for their feedback. It's going to be nice. So anyway, so that's kind of, I get them ready. And what I do, first of all, is I create a single property squeeze page just for the seller. Okay, and I have a special hashtag I use when I create that squeeze page. So when I get a lead from this link, I have a seller share, like a special triggered campaign, a special custom campaign out to these sellers' friends. So it's their sphere. Their Facebook friends, their co-workers, people they go to church with, whoever. So it's a special follow-up campaign just for them. So they're not getting the Facebook buyer campaign. They're not getting my default buyer campaign. They're getting a special campaign just for them. Okay. And so then I have a YouTube video that I usually create for the listing. Maybe it's just a simple video. I put together a slideshow of the pictures, or maybe I have an actual video, and I make sure I put a squeeze page for myself to generate leads in the description. I also create an Instagram image with a call capture code. If you have a really motivated seller who wants to put flyers up in the local grocery store or whatever, you can create a flyer for them with a QR code that's going to go to your listing. Obviously, I talked about campaigns designed to follow up with those leads and hashtags addressed to follow up with those leads. And so to see the resources, you're going to click on this. It's a YouTube video. Under the Seller Marketing Kit, there's resources, and there's a YouTube video where I explain all about my Seller Share Marketing Kit idea. Here's an example of my Seller Marketing Kit. So I send them, this is my seller, and said, hey, here's some marketing materials you might want to share with your friends and family. Now, remember, I give them a heads up, when I'm talking to them in person or on the phone, I let them know, hey, don't forget, I'm going to be sending you a marketing kit, and what's going to be in there is a link that you can share on Facebook. It'll be super great. And I make sure I tell them that, so when they get it, they will know, and they won't just think it's just another email you're sending them. So in this little marketing kit, that's the most important thing. It's just that single property squeeze page. If you don't create anything else for them, great. Just definitely create a single property squeeze page of their listing that has a special hashtag that's going to follow up with those leads. And that's what I explained in the resources I shared with you. But I do create like a video for them, an Instagram post for them, so that they can share it themselves. And I have specific campaigns to follow up with them. And again, in the Seller Marketing Kit resources link is a YouTube video where I train you how to do that. This is what's great about the Seller Marketing Kit, and especially when your seller shares your link and you follow up with them. It says in the subject of the email, it says, about your friend's real estate listing, with a smiley face. And then the people open it up and they say, hey, I noticed you checked out, and it'll say whatever property is. I noticed you checked out 123 Main Street that your friend has listed and with me. And guess what? I'm the realtor, and I would love to get your feedback. What do you think about the presentation of the listing? How about the price? Do you know anybody who might want to purchase this home? And is there anything I can do for you? And so these people are not ready to do anything like today. But you know what? These people, because they looked at a property, they're going to start getting search alerts. They're going to getting similar properties sent to them. So they're going to be getting that. Plus, if they click on like get my instant home value, they're going to get their home valuation. You're going to start interacting with them. And they're going to start getting your newsletters that you're sending out. They're going to become people in your sphere. And then one day, like a year and a half later, out of the blue, somebody's going to message you from your kvCore website and say, hey, I just saw this house. I'm not pre-approved yet, and I want to, and then you'll look them up and you're like, oh gosh, there's somebody I generated for my seller share campaign a year and a half ago. Cool. And then you're going to sell them a house. And then on Facebook, they're going to post that they have this new house that they bought. And then the person that you originally had a listing with, that originally shared that first seller share campaign, they're like, oh my gosh, you worked with Sylvia too? Isn't she great? And you're going to all have this conversation on Facebook and make friends. It's so cool. That's how you're going to make kvCore your new best friend, is with those 5 strategies I just gave you.